Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 306. It is the fourth day of the week, aka the Buster Cannon workout. I am going to the gym right now way earlier than I normally do. It is a holiday today. I will not disclose what holiday it is because I don't really care. But anyways, to the main subject matter at hand today. Content recycling. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because in yesterday's episode right here, I was discussing the idea of the pigeonholing, basically, where you get into the, basically when you get popular on social media because of one video or one thing, you most likely, or more likely than not, people are not going to watch your other videos if you do anything else that is straying away from that. And that is partly due to the fact that social media platforms really push you into being that one thing. Plus the lack of personality-driven content nowadays is also a big part of it too as well. You can see the TikTok problem for that one. That'll probably be a different episode. But for this one, I just wanted to talk about content recycling because this is something that happens in all media facets, and one in particular happens in a lot of for fitness. Personally, I see this a lot. You can see this especially if you are an older head of the fitness realm. You see these same ideas being recycled in about a 10-year span, give or take a little bit. We are in the process of one that's happening currently, and that's how it usually goes. Every 10 years, something that was popular 10 years ago comes back, and then it just keeps going and going and going. And it seems as though that's going to be the cycle of death forever when it comes to particularly fitness, but you can look at it in all different types of facets in social media and or media platforms. You can also see remakes and you can see that in Hollywood as well, where they do recreations or remakes or remasters of things. They usually give it at least 10 years, depending on how the first time it did it. I'm calling it right now within the next 10, maybe 5 years. It would have been long enough between the Princess and the Frog before the live adaptation happens. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do that yet, but they will. But that is just something that just happens because they have no creativity in Hollywood, but that's a whole other subject for a whole other day. But for now, I want to say content recycling is not necessarily exclusive to the internet. It is everywhere. But the issue with it on the internet is that because social media demands basically posting frequently and quite often for the idea, because they have the mentality of the "what have you done for me lately" basically in all social media platforms. They usually ask, "What have you done for me lately?" And because of that, you have to kind of post something at least relatively frequently. Or if not, if you aren't posting something frequently, relatively quickly, you have to post at least something that will keep the retention so high that it doesn't matter that you haven't posted in a while. See like an Lemon video or something like that. Just somebody who posts a long time, like a lot of time, a long video that will retain a lot of its audience and stuff like that, that will still get views. Also that are very particular. It doesn't matter necessarily the niche subject matter, but if it's a deep dive of a niche subject matter, then people will watch it no matter what, depending on how they are. But still, that's where YouTube is a very weird game, because you can get away with that, but it is harder to get away with that unless you are good at what you're doing and or are in depth with what you're doing. So it all just depends, really. But even then, it's really a kind of a guessing game. If you haven't really established yourself, you have to figure out where these stories are and what they are and how to get them going, because sometimes it doesn't work. That is a strategy that can be failing. But content recycling happens a lot, and I'm going to get into more subject matters as to why it happens, how it happens, and what I've seen personally, because this is partly something that I've just seen even. So it is something that just has to happen. But with that being said, though, I will see you on the inside.
Alright, started off with hyper extensions, which are pretty good. But anyway, back to the main subject matter at hand here. Content recycling. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, like I said in the previous video, people will end up getting into this pigeonhole, basically, of success where they might get something pop off and now they are known for this one thing, but then they get kind of stuck in a cycle. And if they get stuck in the cycle, this is the content recycling. And this happens, I want to say, with mostly everyone, no matter what the niche that they get famous for. No matter how crazy niche it is, they will have to end up doing this eventually if they want to keep up the popularity. Now, sometimes it is successful if they do the content recycling, because there are times where they will do the same videos and or things over and over again, but it doesn't work out. See many of the one-hit wonders in the world, as they have made a song that many people like and resonate, and then they try to capture that same essence many a time, but it doesn't work out quite as well as the first time. So they end up having to pivot or just completely fall off the map. It all just depends. But in terms of social media, this is the same thing. And sometimes you can get people who will continuously have popular videos because they got popular off of something that is a broad enough subject matter that they can actually expand from there. They don't have to necessarily be pigeonholed. Let's say their subject matter is video games, you know, that you have so much, but then there is a point where there is only so much you can talk about in certain aspects of certain things. That's why I don't like to pigeonhole myself necessarily into one subject matter only, because I feel like once that happens, I would screw myself. But also, I see that other people will end up just kind of exhausting themselves on one subject matter. In particular, something like the gym, where they will create this basically the same thing over and over again. Gym content itself is very cyclical, so in 10 years the things that were popular now are going to be popular in the future, and vice versa. So things that were popular 10 years beforehand are popular now again. So it just keeps going, and you can see that in all sorts of facets. It's not just this type as well. This inevitable circle will eventually lead to either people just getting burnt out or the audience leaving the person because they know exactly what they're going to get with this style of video, so there's nothing new. The issue that this creates is that content ends up becoming low effort and low quality. That brings up a whole different issue, but we'll talk about that some other time.
And we're back! Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed. None. Exercise is skipped. We have one, the calf raises, because machine was being used by a lot of people. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get anywhere close to that. But it was interesting seeing a group of people that I recognize. See this video right here about that. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand, content recycling. It's funny how I thought about doing this video in a weird sense where I was just gonna try to recreate shot for shot, word for word, an older video of mine, but I think I'll do that some other day whenever I have the creative juices flowing and I don't have to do this drive, because that'd be a little bit funny, and then I could, you know, talk about that again, but in a different way, in a more humorous way. But anyways, content recycling is something that most content creators have to do at a certain point or another. It is very difficult for it to not happen, but you can attempt to try to mitigate it. Of course, it just depends on how you get big. If you get big, being known for one thing, maybe it's a facial feature or something along those lines, you will be only known for that one thing and or facial feature. Then everything else will kind of just fall by the wayside. It sucks because sometimes you want to, you know, get popular on your own merit, but of course that doesn't always happen. So thus you have to kind of go through the rut of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until you quit, get unpopular, or die. One of the three. It's one of those things that unfortunately the cycle of social media has made it so you are kind of screwed unless you can find a way out of it. There are people who find their way out of this weird rabbit hole that they end up getting themselves into, but it isn't necessarily the norm per se. Most of the time they end up just making a second channel with something else that they also want to talk about, and then maybe focus on that. It all just depends really on who, what, and where, really, because there are some people who will do it and then that channel doesn't go off and then that's it. And then there are other people who will just say fuck it and keep doing the same thing over and over again, who actually do enjoy it, in which case congratulations to you, because realistically a lot of people don't want to end up doing that. For some reason, complacency and or monotony is just not a thing in this world anymore, but that's a whole other subject for a whole other day. But for now, I'll say this: if you notice that you have a favorite content creator and you're like, I've seen this, I feel like I've seen this before, it's probably what's happening realistically. Either that or they're low on views, one of the two things. So it just happens to happen. It's a very unfortunate thing, but the reality of social media nowadays. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one was a continuation of yesterday's video, so please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!